All right, so welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to jump headfirst into the world of penny stocks.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, it is. And, we're going to be looking at this YouTube video from Mike Vestal. And it's called How to Make Money with Penny Stocks in 2024 for Beginners.
Okay.
And, at first glance, you might think, oh, this is just, your typical beginner's guide to penny stocks, right?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
there's a really interesting twist that he throws in there. And it really caught my attention when I was watching it.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's that whole thing about how to actually profit from penny stocks without actually buying any,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's exactly it. But, before we get to that twist, let's kind of, step back a little bit and look at the more traditional approach that Vestal talks about,
Yeah.
like how do you actually find those, hidden gem companies, the ones that have really strong financials and a good growth strategy.
Right, the classic approach.
Yeah.
And, it sounds pretty simple in theory, but the reality is that penny stocks are incredibly risky. I mean, you're dealing with a market that's notorious for these pump and dump schemes,
Oh, yeah.
where investors basically, artificially inflate the price of a stock and then they dump all their shares, leaving everybody else, holding the bag.
Right. Yeah. So it's not as easy as just, picking a company with a cool sounding name and, hoping for the best.
No, not at all.
There's a lot more to it. You got to do your research. You got to do your due diligence.
Absolutely.
And speaking of research, Vestal, he highlights a really interesting case study in his video. And, it's Timothy Sykes, this well-known penny stock trader. And, he's actually made millions by betting against penny stocks.
Ah, yes, Timothy Sykes. He's famous for his shorting strategy.
Yeah, that's right.
Essentially what that means is you're borrowing shares of a stock, selling them at a high price, and then hoping to buy them back later at a lower price to return to the lender. And the difference there, that's your profit.
So wait, hold on. I need to back up for a second because this sounds super risky to me.
It can be, yes.
Is this even legal?
Oh, yeah. It's perfectly legal, but it does have its own set of risks that come with it.
Right. And wouldn't most people be trying to, buy low and sell high, not the other way around?
Well, yeah, that's the traditional approach. But, Sykes, he's built his entire career around this idea of identifying companies that he believes are overvalued
Yeah.
and likely to drop in price. So he's sort of like a contrarian investor in that sense.
So he's going against the grain.
Exactly.
Interesting. Well, here's what I found really fascinating, and this is kind of getting back to that twist that I mentioned. Vestal points out that Sykes actually makes even more money teaching other people about penny stocks
Yes.
than he does actually trading them himself.
Yes, that's right. His blog, for instance,
Yes.
brings in an estimated $289,000 per month just from advertising.
Wow.
And then he uses that audience to sell educational products courses all about his trading strategies.
It's like, that old saying, during a gold rush, sell shovels.
Exactly. Sometimes the real opportunity isn't in participating directly in the market,
Mhm.
but in providing the tools and the knowledge to the people who are...
Right. And what's interesting is that Vestal himself applied this same selling shovels approach to his own online businesses.
Yeah, that's right.
So tell me a little bit more about that. Like, how did Vestal get started? Did he start with penny stock content?
Actually, no. He started by creating content about making money online just in general,
Okay.
built an audience-generated ad revenue, and then use that income to actually invest in other ventures.
Interesting. So it's kind of like, building that financial cushion so you can then take some more calculated risks.
Exactly. It's a really clever approach, wouldn't you say?
I think so, yeah. And so is he saying that, you shouldn't even bother with penny stocks, just stick to making money online?
Not necessarily. He still sees a lot of potential in penny stocks,
Okay.
but he just emphasizes the importance of diversifying. Building multiple streams of income can really give you that financial stability while you're learning the ropes. You can use those profits then to invest in penny stocks, but you're doing it more strategically.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it sounds like, he's not saying don't do penny stocks, but he's saying be smart about it, have a plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all about being calculated,
Yeah.
not just throwing your money at random companies and hoping for the best.
Right, right.
And, he even gave an example in the video of how he took one of his online businesses from making like $7 a day to $300 a day,
Wow.
which he pointed out was more than he was making day trading penny stocks and with a lot less stress.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Uh,
So that's a pretty strong argument for, diversifying your income.
Definitely.
But, let's circle back to penny stocks specifically for a minute because, Vestal still believes that they can be incredibly profitable if you approach them correctly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's just, You've got to do your research. You've got to do your due diligence.
Right. And that's key. Before you invest in any penny stock, you need to understand the company's financials, their business model,
Wow.
what's their growth strategy.
Right.
You're looking for companies with solid fundamentals, not just hype.
Okay. So how do you actually go about doing that research? Like, where do you even begin?
Well, there's a ton of resources available online.
Yeah.
You can start by looking at the company's website,
Okay.
reading their financial reports. You can check out analyst reviews.
Mm-hmm.
There's also websites and forums that are specifically dedicated to penny stock investing, where you can find information, connect with other investors.
Okay. But how do you know if the information that you're finding is reliable?
Yeah,
Because it seems like there's so much misinformation out there, especially when it comes to penny stocks.
that's a great point. And it's really important to be critical of any information that you come across.
Mhm.
Cross-reference it with multiple sources. Look for reputable financial websites,
Mhm.
established analysts' forums with a good track record of accuracy.
So you're saying, don't just trust everything you read, do your own fact checking.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about those pump and dump schemes that we were talking about earlier? Like, how can you avoid, falling victim to one of those?
Well, I think it comes down to recognizing the warning signs.
Yeah.
Be wary of stocks with sudden, unexplained price surges,
Okay.
especially if it's accompanied by, a flood of positive but unsubstantiated news or like social media hype.
Right. So you're saying, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Exactly.
Okay. So basically, approach penny stocks with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Absolutely.
So, we've been talking a lot about, the investor side of things.
Mhm.
But what if somebody is listening to this and they're thinking, hey, this whole content creation thing sounds pretty interesting.
Right.
Maybe I want to be a penny stock influencer.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of advice does Vestal give for people who are interested in that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, he has some really good tips for aspiring influencers in this space.
Okay.
He recommends starting by just sharing your learning journey. You know, document what you're studying, the companies that you're researching. Your thoughts on the market, it's like creating a public research journal.
So you're not trying to, position yourself as an expert right out of the gate. You're just being transparent about your process.
Exactly. And people appreciate that authenticity.
Right.
And then as you learn and gain experience, your content's going to naturally evolve and become more insightful.
Hmm. Okay, so what about, actually making money from this content? Like, how do penny stock influencers generate revenue?
Yeah, so there are a few different ways.
Okay.
Platforms like YouTube, allow you to monetize your videos through ads.
Right.
You can also explore affiliate marketing, which is basically partnering with companies like online brokerages or educational platforms.
Right.
And then you earn a commission for every referral that you bring in.
I've heard of affiliate marketing, but I don't really understand like how it works. Can you give me an example?
Sure. So let's say you're creating content about penny stock trading strategies.
Mhm.
You could partner with an online brokerage that offers a platform for trading penny stocks. And in your videos or your blog posts, you would include a special link to that brokerage's website.
Okay.
And if someone clicks your link and they sign up for an account, you get a commission.
So you're basically getting paid to recommend products or services that you already use and you believe in?
Exactly.
Okay.
And in the penny stock niche, there are even platforms like ClickBank that offer courses on penny stock trading.
Okay.
And the commissions on those can be as high as $580 per sale.
Wow. $580 for a single sale.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
There's definitely potential there.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some serious earning potential in this niche.
There is, but it's important to remember that success in any online venture, it takes time and effort and consistency.
Of course.
You got to create high quality content, build an audience, market yourself effectively.
So it's not, one of those get-rich-quick schemes.
No.
It's about building a sustainable business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, for those who are passionate about penny stocks and they have a knack for creating and engaging content, it can be a really rewarding path.
Yeah. It's funny how we've kind of come full circle here.
Right.
We started out by talking about the risks of investing in penny stocks.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're talking about how to potentially profit from, the educational side of the market.
Yeah, and it really just highlights how understanding the broader landscape of an industry can open up all these unexpected opportunities.
Mhm.
And it goes back to that selling shovels analogy.
Right.
Sometimes the real gold is found not in digging for the gold, but in providing the tools and the knowledge that other people need to do the digging.
It's fascinating how, Vestal's own journey with this really kind of highlights the value of diversification,
Hmm.
both in terms of income streams, but also in terms of how we approach, penny stocks.
Right.
He found success, not only by investing, but also by, teaching and sharing his knowledge with others.
Absolutely. And, it's a good reminder that there's not always just one path to success in any field.
Right.
And it's not always about taking, these huge risks with your money. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is really leverage what, your expertise and create something valuable for other people.
I think one of the most valuable takeaways that I got from Vestal's video is this whole idea of this earn as you learn approach.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He really cautions against, people just, taking their life savings and dumping it into penny stocks with, very little knowledge or experience.
Right.
And he says, instead of doing that, try to generate some income through other means, whether it's, content creation or freelancing or really, anything that aligns with your skill.
Anything that you can do to kind of build that financial cushion before you really dive headfirst into penny stocks.
Right, because penny stocks can be very volatile.
Oh, yeah, incredibly so.
Yeah. And so it's really about mitigating that risk and creating a safety net for yourself while you're learning and gaining experience.
Absolutely.
And then, as you're learning and potentially even, generating profits from these other ventures, you can then, use those funds to experiment with penny stock investing, but in a much more, informed and strategic way.
Right. It's like having training wheels,
Yeah, exactly.
before you take the bike off road.
And, one thing that Vestal mentions that I thought was interesting is that you don't necessarily have to do this all on your own. He
Right.
talks about, the possibility of partnering with, established figures like Timothy Sykes
Yeah.
through affiliate programs.
Yeah, that's a great strategy because you can really leverage their expertise, their audience, to boost your own, visibility and earnings.
So it's all about, finding those win-win collaborations.
Exactly.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've talked about the traditional approach to penny stock investing. We've talked about, this idea of shorting, which is a little more unconventional.
Right.
And then this whole fascinating world of content creation in the penny stock niche.
It's a pretty interesting world.
It is. But,
Yeah.
as we kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Mhm.
what are some of the key things that our listeners should keep in mind as they, explore this exciting but often unpredictable world of penny stocks?
I think it really boils down to just a few key principles.
Okay.
Number one, thorough research is absolutely essential.
Yeah.
Don't just blindly jump into a stock based on hype or rumors. Take your time. Really understand the company, their financials, their growth potential.
Do your due diligence.
Exactly.
Look beyond just the, the flashy stock symbol.
Right.
And really, dig into the substance of the company.
Exactly. The fundamentals.
Okay. Number two.
Number two, always be aware of the risks. Penny stocks are inherently volatile. And, these pump and dump schemes are out there. Don't let greed, cloud your judgment, and always be prepared for the possibility that you might lose money.
Yeah. It's like that old saying, only invest what you can afford to lose.
Very true. Very true. And number three, consider diversifying your income streams.
Okay.
Vestal's story is a perfect example of, the power of creating multiple avenues for earning money.
Right.
So you're not relying on just one source, and it gives you that much more financial stability.
It's like building a safety net.
You're
not putting all your eggs in one basket.
And then finally, remember, knowledge is power.
Mm.
Continuous learning is so important, in penny stocks, just like in any other field.
Right.
Stay informed about market trends, research strategies, and, pay attention to what other successful traders are doing, what their experiences are.
So stay curious.
Stay curious.
Stay informed. And who knows, you might even become the next penny stock guru. Exactly. And, maybe one day you'll even come back on the deep dive and share your success story with us.
That would be great.
But until then, we hope that this deep dive has given you some valuable insights and really sparked your curiosity about this world.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, there's no one right path to success when it comes to penny stocks. It's all about finding the approach that, works for you, that aligns with your goals.
Your risk tolerance.
Yeah, and your vision for the future.
Your vision for the future, exactly.
So keep exploring.
Keep learning.
And, as always,
Stay curious.
that's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening.